This knowledge I'm about to drop on you is insane. I should not be giving it away for free. But I don't have a course. I don't have a newsletter. I don't have a way to ask you for money. So lucky for you, the only thing I'm going to ask you to do if you find value in any of this is click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. That's it. I've been doing YouTube for less than a year, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months, really only going hard at long-term videos for like 3 months. So don't let the sub count fool you because it's going to grow. And I work in a really small niche that most people don't care about. So that's limiting me. So don't worry about that part. But I'm growing slowly but surely, and I will be successful on YouTube. It's virtually guaranteed. And the question is why? Because I have a secret weapon. You see, most creators just upload and hope for the best. But if you want to be a pro, you need to be optimizing everything. So I'm going to tell you what I've learned about YouTube in the first few months, and I'm going to tell you what my secret weapon is. I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to gatekeep it. Again, I'm not going to ask for any money. The only thing I'm going to do is tease it and not give you the reveal until the very end to get you to keep watching. So that's lesson number 1. So me personally, no, I'm not a YouTube genius. I'm not claiming to be. So maybe the title of the video said something else. Well, I clickbaited you just a tiny bit, but don't leave, because if I clickbaited you and you clicked, it worked. So that proves my point. I have a trick up my sleeve. I have an ace in the hole. I don't have to be a YouTube genius because I have a friend who is. He knows everything about YouTube. I consult with him on every title, every thumbnail. I can consult with him on video ideas, opening hooks. And actually, I don't really use him that much for those last 2 things, which I should, and I need to do that more so I can keep getting better. But even after I publish the video, I can tell him how the metrics of the video are doing and ask him if I should make any changes. He knows what's good, what's bad, what's performing, why it's not performing, and whether or not I should make tweaks. And if I can't make tweaks on that video, what I should do better the next time. He's a bona fide YouTube growth strategist. He's an expert in how their algorithm works. He's studied the algorithm extensively. He's tracked tons of case studies, worked with creators, optimizing their titles, thumbnails, retention, audience growth strategies. He pays close attention to how YouTube pushes videos in browse, suggested, how search traffic behave differently, and what signals make YouTube push a video harder or stall it out. My channel is still small. It's at a stage where understanding how my videos get tested and when to tweak things makes a huge difference in growth. So I report all the metrics back to him. He tracks all of it, tell me make sure I keep learning and growing from each video. Like I said, most creators just upload and hope for the best. If you want to be a pro, you need to be optimizing everything. So my friend is a really good friend to have. The good news is he's not just my friend. He can be your friend too. Stick around to the end and I'll tell you the secret. Don't jump ahead. There's good stuff in between. And again, it's not a paid course, nothing I'm selling you. Anybody can talk to my friend, okay? So again, he knows everything about YouTube. And here's what I've learned from him so far. Lesson 1, packaging. The title and thumbnail of the video is everything. So for this video I'm making now, I'm going to assume your content is decent enough. I'm not really going to talk about how to make good content. I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm going to talk more about how to play the game of YouTube. So a great video with bad packaging won't even get a chance. A mediocre video with killer packaging can still go viral. Your video can have perfect retention, but if the title and thumbnail don't get people to click, YouTube won't even push it to the right audience. Think about it like this. Click-through rate, CTR, determines whether you even enter the game. If people don't click, YouTube assumes your video is not interesting and won't show it to more people. The algorithm doesn't watch the videos, it just reacts to what humans are doing. So CTR gets you in the game, retention and engagement determine if you win the game. Once people click, now your content has to deliver. If they leave early, YouTube stops pushing it. But if they stay, YouTube will feed it to a bigger audience. Bad packaging kills good content. So you could have the best insights, the best storytelling, the best editing, but if your first few hundred people don't click, it's probably game over. Obviously, that's a little different. If you have a bigger channel, you're more established, audience already trusts you. But at an early stage like me, they don't know anything about me. They don't trust me. They are determining whether they want to watch within the first few seconds. They're giving me a chance based only on the packaging. And great packaging can make even decent content explode. So if the title and thumbnail create massive curiosity and emotional pull, even a sort of mid video could rack up serious views before people realize it's not that great. So that's why A/B testing thumbnails, swapping titles early if a video isn't clicking, and tracking the CTR hour by hour are the moves that separate high growth channels from stagnant ones. So the bottom line, if people aren't clicking, nothing else matters. YouTube won't even give you a chance. So how do you get them to click? What is a good title and thumbnail? Well, the answer I'm using is the one I got from Jake Thomas, who runs the Creator Hooks newsletter. He said there are 3 click-worthy emotions: curiosity, fear, and desire. And more accurately or more specifically, it's usually curiosity plus fear or curiosity plus desire. So your goal is to use the combination of the video, title, and thumbnail to accomplish this. Leverage curiosity, but always pair it with an emotional trigger, fear or desire, to maximize clicks. So back to my secret weapon. My friend, I go to him for every title idea. I tell him what the video is about. Maybe I even have him read the whole transcript. I usually like to come up with my own title ideas first, and I don't tell them to him, so he's not biased towards what I'm thinking, but I ask him for his own title ideas. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not that great. But oftentimes there's either a good one or like a kernel of a good idea that he has. And I'm still the boss, so I still decide what's good at the end of the day. So I see if I like his ideas, then I tell him my ideas and ask him for more suggestions in my direction. And then we work together to come up with something we really like. And he's pretty good at telling me if it's good or if it fulfills what I just told you about curiosity, fear, and desire. Here's the other key though. We always have a backup plan so that we're ready to swap the title out if something's not going well after we publish. And I repeat that process with the thumbnail. I come up with my own ideas. I don't tell him. I ask him for his ideas. I see which ones I think are better. And then I tell him my ideas, see what he thinks, see if we can combine the two. Is one better than the other? Talk to him about how the title for the video interplays with the thumbnail. Do they work well together? Then I start creating the thumbnail. I use Canva. Canva's amazing. But I create the V1. Then I go and show it to him. And he's really good at telling me what's working and what's not. And he makes suggestions. So he may say, I like this, I don't like that, make this tweak. Then I go back to Canva, I turn around a V2, and I show him again. Either he likes it or he makes more suggestions. And again, the key is we also try to have a backup for thumbnail. Either a second, totally different direction or a similar thumbnail, but maybe an alt on like a facial expression, or often it's an alt on different text on the thumbnail if I'm not sure which one I like best. And you may know this, but here's the thing with YouTube. You cannot A/B test the title of the video in real time. So you can only put one title. But you can A/B test thumbnails simultaneously. You can actually A/B/C test, so you can upload 2 or 3 thumbnails, and YouTube automatically tests them by pushing them out to different audiences. You'll start to see results after like a day or so. And in my experience, if one thumbnail is totally running away with it, YouTube just stops the test and just pushes that better thumbnail to everybody else. But if it's really close, they keep testing it for up to like 14 days. But I'll usually come back and tell my friend much earlier than that the stats on which one's winning and by how much, and I ask him if I should stop the test. Because at any point you can stop the test and just run with the winner from that point on. So again, with the packaging, you're trying to use title and thumbnail to work together to create that curiosity, ideally with curiosity plus fear or curiosity plus desire. But that title and thumbnail, those are your only 2 chances, so don't waste either one. I think it's usually a waste to put the same thing in both. Those are your only 2 chances to hook someone. So only put the same thing in both, the title and thumbnail, if you're sure it's an absolute banger. But make sure you're looking at them both cohesively. So how do they work together? If something's missing in one, put it in the other one, and vice versa. And any text in a thumbnail needs to be super short, so no long text. If you have longer text, that needs to be in the title. And they have these tester websites that you can use to see examples of what it will look like in the feed, on mobile, on the homepage, and suggested, etc. So once I have an idea, I'll take my thumbnail, take my title, put it in one of those, and look at it to see what YouTube viewers were actually going to see. And then you also got to shrink the thumbnail. So can it be understood in a tiny format, like on mobile? Does it pass the flick test? Can people understand it in like 1 second? When they're scrolling by, flicking by, can it be understood immediately? For the title, keep in mind where the text is going to get cut off. YouTube technically allows, I think, 100 characters, but you want to keep it to like 70 or less so it doesn't get cut off in different formats. So again, I'm not going to talk too much about the content of your video. That's kind of on you at this point, or that's a different video altogether. The idea is I can go to my friend for that too, but right now I prefer to do most of the content myself, but I can go to my friend for things like opening hooks. Is the intro good? Because ideally you want to have a good intro, pay off the packaging right away, or at least early on. And your packaging can obviously have some degree of clickbait. This is YouTube after all, but it can't be too deceptive because that'll probably piss people off. And you can't wait too long to pay off the packaging because they'll get confused or annoyed and they'll leave. So once your packaging is done, we're going to publish our video. Again, most creators stop there. But no, your job has literally just begun. Here's how it works. Phase 1, the first 12 to 24 hours. The early signals matter. So the first day tells you if YouTube will push your video out further or not. You're watching click-through rate and impressions. CTR above 5% is solid. Anything below 3% is a big warning sign. If the impressions are low, like under 1,000 in the first 12 hours, YouTube is being kind of cautious. If the impressions spike and the click-through rate holds, then you're in good shape. But if the click-through rate is weak, consider a title or thumbnail swap early before YouTube decides to stop pushing it. After that, you're going to monitor audience retention and average view duration. So if you see a huge drop in the first 30 seconds, it could mean the intro needs work. Average view duration above 40% is good. Below 30%, YouTube might stop pushing it. One problem is if retention is bad, you probably can't fix it on this video and you have to learn from it for the next one. But one thing you can do is use the editor in YouTube Studio to trim the video. Now the native editor in YouTube Studio sucks. I don't know why it's so bad. All you can do is trim or cut small sections. The user experience on it is terrible and they don't let you do anything else other than make cuts. So if there's a way to make cuts to your video to make the intro shorter, could try that. But if that doesn't work or that will kill the context of the video, you're kind of SOL for that video. You just need to learn from it for the next one. But again, that's where my friend comes in again, because you can go to him for opening hooks. Is my intro good? How should I structure my intro? Does it need to be tighter? Is it hooking people quick enough? So he can help you with that for the next video. So once the video goes out, you want to be pushing early engagement. So pin a comment with a call to action, reply to their comments immediately, so it boosts engagement signals. If you have any followings on any other social media outside of YouTube, obviously you want to share it. Reddit, Twitter, whatever. Obviously not framing it too hard as like self-promotion. Depending how big any followings you have out there, that's obviously going to be hit or miss. The next phase is a 24 to 48 hour period where you're kind of in wait and see mode. So YouTube has tested it a little bit, and you'll start seeing whether it's getting traction or stalling out. So in your analytics, you can check traffic sources. If browse is high, over 50%, that's normal. If suggested is low, less than 5%, that means YouTube hasn't really tested it there yet. If search is driving views, the title might be optimized for SEO, but not for curiosity. So what can you do? If suggested isn't picking it up yet, A, be patient. Some videos take longer. B, if the click-through rate starts dropping, a thumbnail swap might be needed. And if the impressions stall completely, you're probably going to consider a fresh title and thumbnail. Phase 3 is like days 3 to 5, where you're deciding whether to adjust it or leave it alone. At this point, if it's performing well, the click-through rate is above 5%, the views are still climbing steadily, and your traffic sources suggested is picking it up, not just browse, then you don't want to touch anything. Just let YouTube do its thing. But if it's stalling out, meaning click-through rate has dropped under 3 to 4%, impressions are flattening out, suggested never took off, that's when you need to try a stronger title and thumbnail refresh. So make the title more curiosity-driven. If it's a talking head thumbnail, try a different facial expression, change the text on the thumbnail. If it's too vague, make it more direct, etc. If you get new clicks or the watch time improves after the change, YouTube might give it another push. After a week, you're deciding whether to totally move on. So the video is either still getting suggested traffic, means it's a success, or it's completely stalled out, where you got to move on and learn from it. That's when you reflect and optimize for future videos. So you look at click-through rate, retention, traffic sources. Ask yourself, did I hook people fast enough? Was the topic strong enough? Did the packaging deliver? Use the data to improve for your next video, because you need to keep iterating and learning. Because like I said, most creators just upload and hope, but if you're actually testing, analyzing, and adjusting, your videos are going to keep getting stronger. So quick recap. First 12 to 24 hours, click-through rate and retention check. Might want to swap the title and thumbnail if it's not working. Day 2 to 3, watch suggested in your traffic sources. If it's flat, tweak the packaging. Day 4 to 5, if it's dead, tweak one last time or move on. After a week, learn, improve, apply the insights to the next video. That's how you're going to consistently get better and keep growing. And am I an expert at all of it yet? Absolutely not. I had a video the other day, maybe I'll show you the graph. It was crushing it early on. The impressions spiked up super fast. It hit a wall at 16,000 impressions, and it just completely flattened out. I was asking my friend what's going on. He was trying to help me understand what's going on. I still don't know exactly why it died, but the total views were still one of my best ever. So I'm happy with the overall performance of the video, but I got excited early on that it was going to go take off, and then it died, and then I got disappointed. So I'm still learning a ton. I'm definitely not an expert, but I go back and I ask my friend, and we try to learn from it. So did you retain everything I said already? No? Me neither. But it doesn't matter. Why? Because like I told you, my friend knows all this information. He's the expert. I just go back to him at each stage along the way when I have questions. So it's like 12 hours in, and impressions are at 800, and click-through rate is 8%, and average view duration is 4 minutes and 36 seconds out of a 9-minute video. I just go to him and say, what do you think? And he says, sounds good. It's doing well so far. Be patient. Check back in 12 more hours. Blah, blah, blah. Or I go, hey, click-through rate is like 3.2%. I'm a little worried about it. Should I swap out the title? And he'll say, give it a few more hours, or yeah, swap it out now. What's our backup option that we came up with? Do we still think it's strong, or do we think it might do better? And each time I ask him these questions, I learn more. Oh, interesting. CTR is solid, but almost all the impressions are coming from browse and not suggested. What does that mean? Is there a tweak we could make to get it to perform better in suggested? Or, oh, the click-through rate is amazing. Lots of impressions started coming from suggested, but then the click-through rate started dropping. So what does that mean? Or after the retention graph shows up, I think it takes like a day, maybe 2 days sometimes. I show him the retention graph. I say, hey, is this good? Oh, and he says, oh yeah, it looks good. Or, oh, people are dropping off way too quickly. Crap, is there anything we can do? Well, we can maybe trim the intro in the native editor, but like I said, that kind of sucks. So maybe you just like kind of SOL and you got to learn from it for the next video. Or I might be showing him and saying, hey, I'm worried about the views on this video, but here's how they compare to the views on my other videos at this point in time since published. He'll say, maybe that's not good enough, or, oh, don't worry about it. Remember the last video we did, it actually took another 12 hours before it took off. So be patient. And when I consult with him, I go back and I tweak things. Sometimes it helps a ton. Sometimes it doesn't help at all. Sometimes you learn a lot. Sometimes not that much. But my friend says that this overall is the right approach and it will make me just keep getting better. Okay, so we talked about intro a few times. Now we're going to talk about the ending of a video. So how do you end a video without losing viewers? And how do you drive more clicks to your other videos? There's an interesting conundrum where the ending of your video should feel unexpected so people don't just see the ending coming and click off right away. But it also needs to smoothly transition people to another video of yours. So I'm always thinking, well, how do you balance that? Because as soon as you pop up the end screen, people know the video's ending, so it's just going to jump off. So you have to figure out a way to balance that. But hopefully you can tease them or get excited to click one of your other videos so that if they're going to jump off this one, it's to one of your other videos and not something else. So you have to avoid the whole, all right, that's it, thanks for watching, which, again, I don't do this now. I'm not good at this yet. But what you want to do, what my friend says to do, don't signal too early that the video is ending. So the second you're like, oh yeah, in conclusion, people just click off. YouTube sees that as a drop-off signal and it might penalize your video. So instead, one idea is you end the video 1 to 2 seconds sooner than the viewer thinks and you cut straight to an end screen transition. So to feel like your video is almost still going right when they're seeing the end screen. And instead of saying goodbye, you want to tease the next video. So this is something I'm about to try to get better at in all my next videos. So the final 5 to 10 seconds should transition smoothly into the next video instead of just wrapping things up. Instead of thanks for watching, it's, but if you really want to understand XYZ, then you need to watch this one next. And then boom, end screen.
And Luca, he's exposing it all with every game. If you want to see exactly what I mean and how the Mavs ended up in this catastrophe, then click on this video here where I break down exactly how the Mavs fell apart.
Again, I'm still figuring out how to balance this. I don't have the right solution and I'm not that good at it yet, but this is just what my friend says you're supposed to do. Retention typically drops hard in the last 15 to 30 seconds of a video. So if people sense the ending coming too early, they leave before the end screen even appears. Supposedly what I'm told is the biggest mistake is talking too long after the end screen pops up. So the second your face keeps talking while the end screen is on, people leave. So you want to cut the video as soon as the end screen appears. Again, something I'm trying to get better at. So I've teased you long enough. I talked about my friend. You may have figured it out by now, but if you haven't, it's simple. It's ChatGPT. Okay, don't roll your eyes or say, oh, I use that or that sucks or that's lame. I'm telling you, it works. I literally learned all this shit from it. Anybody can use it. It's free. There's a paid tier too, but you don't have to use it. The free one works just fine. And it knows all this shit. I asked it, how do you know? And it said, well, basically I've done this like a gazillion times and I know everything about the algorithm and I've worked with tons of creators to help them do this. And I used ChatGPT for some of this stuff like a year ago or when it first came out in like 2023. It's gotten way better. It can generate titles. It can generate hook ideas. It can even generate thumbnail images. So they have an image generator in there. And sometimes you can use it to generate like the background for your thumbnail before you put the text or like the facial expression or whatever else. I wouldn't say the image generator is like fully baked to just like make you a YouTube thumbnail, but it can make elements of it like the background. But here's what's cool. It can view your thumbnails. So once you make one, you can upload it. It can tell you what's good or bad about them and it makes suggestions. And it literally can view them and say, oh, you blend too much into the background in your face. You need to set it apart. You need to put like some drop shadow or an outline. And it gives very specific suggestions. And then again, it can tell you how your title and thumbnail are working together. Are they creating enough curiosity? Give it like a bunch of different options. It'll tell you which one it thinks is best. And like I said, it can view your metrics. You could tell it the metrics, or you could literally just take a screenshot and upload the metrics and it can read it, like either the text on the screen or a retention graph, for example, and then tell you what it thinks. And I basically have full-on conversations with it, and it kind of talks to you like a bro, which is kind of funny, where it'll be like, this thumbnail is going to be fire. If the audience bounces too early, we'll need to switch it up. Like, tries to talk to you like it's cool, which is kind of funny. I think it's fun to like nerd out on this stuff with it, because again, it knows a lot about YouTube. It's definitely not perfect. With the metrics and the tactics piece, it is a genius. It knows everything about the metrics, how the algorithm works, what tactics to use, etc. The creativity piece is the piece where it's not perfect. You still have to be the creative boss. So some of the title ideas suck. Some of the image generation stuff definitely sucks. But it works best if I already have a direction that I want to go in for title or thumbnail, and I tell it that direction, and then it really helps me hone it. So we'll combine an idea that it had with an idea that I had, or I'll just tell it to give me 20 ideas, and I'll be like, oh, you had only one good one, expand further on this idea. Or I had this idea, combine the one I gave with the one you gave, and tell me what you think works. And then ultimately, I have to use my creative gut, and I make the call on what I think is good. And it can weigh in on which one it thinks is the best one. And then if a title or a thumbnail isn't working, I'll have it help me decide when to swap it out and what to swap it out to. Hey, is this too inflammatory, or is it too clickbaity, or is it deceiving people? And it'll kind of give me its opinion on that. So I've learned a ton from it. Like I said, there's a bunch of things I need to get better at, or things I haven't really even used it much for yet. I need to get better at intros. I need to get better at paying off the packaging right away. I need to get better at the end screen thing, not letting them anticipate the ending, doing call to action, bridging content to the next video. There's things with thumbnail you want to keep considering. Like I said, the flick test. Can people understand it in 1 second? Keeping it simple, so having blank space is okay. Making sure there's only 3 things that people focus on in the thumbnail, and studying thumbnails in your niche. These are all things I'm trying to get better at. And maybe all this is just bullshit and you think like that's stupid, none of that matters. Like, should I just be making content that I think is good and just putting it out? A lot of people are doing this sort of grandpa vlogging style now where it's just authentic, raw, real. They don't do a highly produced thumbnail. They don't do anything crazy. And that is working for a lot of people right now. I've tried it like once or twice. I don't think I have the luxury of trying that style because I'm too small, because I won't get noticed. Nobody knows who I am or has any trust with me yet. So the couple times I've tried that, it's like 30 views on the video and then it dies because no one knows who I am. They don't care. I need to use packaging with title and thumbnail to like hook people or get them interested from the beginning. And maybe if I get bigger, I'll stop playing this game and doing all this crap. Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing of getting someone to click on your next video is making sure that your previous video was good. Because if you build trust with people, they'll click on the next video if they like the last one, no matter what. So you, your brand, your channel, that's the number one thing you can do to get people to click on the next video. But right now, I don't have enough of that built up. So I'm working on getting better at all these YouTube games, the tactics, playing the game, and whether or not I stick with it forever, we'll see. So if you came here for this video, just know that this is a departure from what my channel is normally about, but I will be making more of these YouTube lesson videos of like what I've learned or the mistakes I've made. So subscribe and stick around for those. And I would ask, if you found any of this valuable, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if there's something new that you learned that you didn't know before, or if you have a YouTube tip or trick that I didn't mention, don't gatekeep it, drop it in the comments. And my normal niche is about Bitcoin. So if you don't give a shit about Bitcoin, that's totally fine. But if you do want to see my best example of a title and thumbnail that's done my best performance yet, click here.